Sometimes you're a fire, sometimes you're a ghost. Sometimes you can give me all the things that I love the most. Sometimes you're a queen, sometimes you're a curse, and sometimes a whole lot worse. Yeah, nobody's quite like you.
Hello everyone and welcome to episode number 29 of Blue Hell Worldwide, and today we are going to look through the stats and the league results and cup results from season 2 in this World Super League save with Sporting Kansas City, a vodcast episode. That's why you can't see my head down in the bottom right corner, but if you are looking forward to this, remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and might like the look of the gameplay part of the series, and also remember to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. But today, as I said, we're going to go through the awards and the end of season review first, and then we'll go have a look around all the other leagues in this World Super League database. So first off, before we get into the end of season review itself, we do have the overall best 11 here at Sporting Kansas City. A few new additions to this team from last season. You can see that Sepp Vandenberg, Youssoufa Makoko, Matt Olasunde, Felix Metcher, Jake Doyle-Hayes, and Remy Deschamps have all been included in this best 11 and bench. So what that means is for those players, if we just go up to try and keep these guys in view so I can tell who is actually new in the team itself, Sepp Vandenberg must be on the bench. Jala gets a starting spot, as does Makoko, which some effort from him considering he's only been at the club for 3 and a bit months. As I said, definitely a player that we're going to look to try and get back here on loan next season. That's what we're also going to do today, have a look at some players that we might be bringing in once we check out the XG of the squad and whatnot. Also joining this year was Matt Olasunde, who has not quite overtaken Graham Zusi for the right back spot. Doyle-Hayes will no doubt be on the bench behind Busio, and Remy Deschamps on the bench behind Tamelia as well. So for the most part, it's a fairly similar team to last season. Metcher, in fact, is starting on the left wing. So Metcher, Makoko, and Jala are the new additions, but otherwise, more or less the core of the squad that we had here at the start of last season, with a few other new guys coming on to the substitutes bench. But we are going to do the end of season review now, finishing third in the league. And considering early on this season we were in the relegation zone, that was a pretty good effort from our guys to get as high as we did, and we potentially could have even won the league if we didn't drop as many points late in the season as we did. But first up, they're going to have a look at the transfers that we made. There's going to be a few of these ones as well. At the top of the list, no doubt, Youssoufa Makoko, 16 appearances, 26 goals, only one off the record set by Alan Pulido last season. He is just such a quality player as Youssoufa Makoko. We'll have a look at him again in a minute. Off the back of that, Felix Meyer didn't play too much, but the board happy with that signing. Ambroise Oyongo, signing of the season according to the board. I suppose he was here for all season, so I can understand that personally. I think Makoko just performed so well that it's hard not to give it to him. But Oyongo with a 7.04 average rating, a goal and 9 assists, no doubt another very good pickup. Felix Metcher, who we got for very little, if not on a free, from Manchester City. In fact, it must have been a free because there's no transfer fee there. He did pretty well. He was actually very good, replacing Shallowy and Kinda out on the left wing once he stepped into things. His 11 goals and 8 assists from 25 games, a nice impact from him. Remy Deschamps was solid for a backup goalkeeper option, 6.97 average rating in the 18 games that he played. Sepp Vandenberg on loan as a player who we might look at bringing back next season, 36 games, 3 goals, 6.95 average rating. Sasha Jala was pretty good coming into the starting defensive midfield role. Matt Olasunde, after a little bit of a rocky start, really got his butt into gear in the latter half of the season, getting up to a 6.94 average rating, and for 185,000 euros, that was a pretty good deal. And then we've got some players who we bought in but are currently out on loan, and players who will be for the future in De Queiroz Nieto. Jake Doyle-Hayes had a solid first season here at SKC, so did Luke Bolton, Ryan Wintle. We make our way down to another player who we bought in but went straight back out on loan, and Yasser Larouci, and then we get down to the younger players who didn't really make any appearances for the first team. But on the whole, most of the transfers that we made this season, it has to be said, very few of them under a 6.5 rating, so pretty good. The only one who was below that was Willian Igor. That's why we ended up bringing Makoko in late in the mid-season transfer window, and that paid off big time. But a player for the future there is Willian Igor. So I think in the end, our transfer business this year was very good. In terms of outs, Alexander Tete left for 400k, played pretty well for them, but he was 36 years old. Amadou Dia was only ever going to be a backup fullback for us, went to Salford, performed well for them, and we got 160,000 for him, so not too bad. Kendall McIntosh, we replaced him with Remet Deschamps, a better goalkeeper who cost us less, so I think we did all right there. And these other players, having a look down, most of them were sort of reserve players, apart from, of course, Roger Espinoza. He left in the mid-season transfer window, 69,000 euros, a very nice amount. He was just getting far too down in quality to be keeping a spot in this first team here at Sporting Kansas City. So we let the then club captain go. The other notable sale there was Graham Smith, a player who had a few appearances for us in the first season here at SKC, but once we got the likes of Vandenberg and that in his ability compared to the rest did decrease, so we let him go for 675,000 euros, which was a pretty good deal, truth be told, and he didn't actually perform that well for Fleetwood when he joined them as well. And also Remy Prieur, who was our backup goalkeeper at the start of the season, we let him go when we bought Deschamps in to Atlanta United. Another player didn't play too much for them, but didn't really perform well either. So in the end, I think we got rid of players that we didn't really need. No players there who would have improved the first team much. So in the end, I think our transfers this season were pretty good, even if we potentially could have got a little bit more money in some of these deals. And in terms of loans out, we'll adjust these to average ratings, and we've got a lot of young talent here. The likes of Adringra and De Cuelos in particular could be players that make an impact here at Sporting Kansas City if we get a few injuries in certain positions next season. So on the whole, I think our transfers this year were pretty good, and obviously they would have to be considering that we did end the season finishing third. In terms of this season's results, we actually achieved everything the board expected of us, which was quite nice compared to last season where we didn't quite do as well as we were expected to in the Super League Cup. The obvious triumph for us was finishing third in the league. You look at the start to the season we were terrible for the first month or two, a big turnaround. It was really all about trying to keep the morale as high as possible despite that rough start. And from there, we started to get our act into gear. Then we got the injury to Pulido late December. That's when Reyes and Harris had to step up, but then Reyes got injured right towards the end of the transfer window. And from there, that's when Makoko joined, the club's top performer in the competition, the top goal scorer in the competition, as well as in the impact from when he joined the club at the start of February, more or less, in the league is obvious. We did not lose a game from that point. He was crucial in that, absolutely banging in the goals up front for us, and that was a big key in us getting as high as third in the Serie A. If he had joined us earlier in the season, I suspect we might have even got into that promotion playoff, which Flamengo ended up in. In terms of the FA Cup, we were expected to reach the 8th round. All we needed to do to get there was beat Wolfsberger, and we did do that, albeit a little bit dicily on penalties. After that, we defeated Getafe 3-1, but then lost to Inter Milan, albeit only 1-0 in the FA Cup round of 64. Put up a pretty good fight there, despite Inter Milan clearly being the better team. But a decent little run in that competition to meet the board's objectives. The Super League Cup, this time we had a much better run in this competition than we did last season. Expected to reach the second round. We had to get past a good Fenerbahce team to get there, and actually did that quite nicely, beating them 3-0 and also winning in the second round 1-0 over Atalanta as well. So a good little start to that competition, but then we suffered defeat to Fluminense rather badly right towards the end of December, 3-0, and that knocked us out again in the round of 64, but still achieved the board's expectations there. The UEFA Champions League, we got knocked out in the losers' second round qualifying by Palmeiras, a team who just finished above us on the league table in the end. Got the advantage in the first league, but then got a little bit spanked in the second, so sort of fell apart for us there. But on the whole, we put up a pretty good effort to try and make that Champions League, but in the end, a very good run in the Europa League came off the back of that. We were pretty patchy throughout the group stage, but got our act into gear just at the right time in the back half of it, winning our last 5 games in a row, none of them by big amounts. Our biggest win was the 5-0 over Millonarios early on, but we just started to string the results together a little bit better as we started to get through the season a little bit more, and that saw us qualify from our group. Then we got into the knockouts, a win over Beijing Sonobo on penalties. The away goal rule, of course, we figured out in a rather interesting episode. Didn't actually mean anything in this Europa League, so even though we got the 1-1 away draw, we still had to go to penalties after the 0-0 home result, but we did go through. And then a very narrow loss to Arsenal after losing 3-2 to them at the Emirates, but 3-3 at home, just going out. It was a real cliffhanger, that one. We put up a heck of a fight. Yusufa Makoko with a hat-trick in his second game for the club in the second tie, but just not quite enough to get through Arsenal, and we went out in the round of 32, but still a very good effort from the boys there. So on the whole, it was a very good season on-field result-wise for us. The moments to remember: biggest win, as we said before, was the win over Millonarios in that Europa League game, 5-0. Reyes with a double, Shalloy with a goal, Vandenberg and Russell with goals in injury time. The match to remember, and I would agree with this one, was that first round Super League Cup win over a heavily favoured Fenerbahce team, beating them quite nicely away from home. And the goal of the season went to Luke Bolton in the Champions League in the 5-2 win over Palmeiras. So we'll have a quick look at this. And here is the goal. It was from a clearance, which we did from a free kick from Palmeiras, or a corner, can't quite remember, but a wonderful individual run there from Luke Bolton, and buried that in the top right corner to get that goal of the season. So we'll get out of that and back to this end of season review. That was the goal of the season, and to be fair, can't think of too many better than that off the top of my head. In terms of the finances, these were quite good this season, and we can reveal off the back of this too our transfer budget going into next season, which is more than I anticipated, but most of things in this part of the finances going up, which is nice to see. Broadcast revenue in particular taking a really big leap, as did competition prize money. Top shirt sellers, still Polito on top, but followed by Mecha, Shallowy, Busio, and Wintle. So a few new faces in there, so that's nice to see some new shirts getting sold, and no doubt when Makoko came as well, a few of those shirts would have been getting sold as well. How we lined up for most of the season, this is going to be quite interesting. They have put Makoko up front with his 26 goals and 16 appearances, was here for less than half the season, but was just so good. Would have to be, for mine anyway, player of the season based on that average rating. And for the rest of the team, it's more or less the team that we put out for most of the season, but I had Busio starting ahead of Doyle Hayes. They thought he wasn't that good this season, but Busio is one of our better rated players, so not sure I would make that change. But apart from that switch in the box-to-box midfield role, it was more or less the team that we played for most of the second part of the season. And we'll go to the awards now, and I'm expecting Makoko might get the player of the year. It's going to be interesting being a player who only joined us in late January, and they've given the player of the season to Matt Olasunde, which is a little bit surprising. Had a rough start to the season, as I said. We were switching between him and Zusi, but once we got into that good run of form, he was starting right back and did pretty well for us. Young player of the season, definitely Yusufa Makoko, absolutely no questions there. Signing of the season, Ayongo, as we saw earlier, in goal of the season to Luke Bolton. Top goal scorer for the club was Yusufa Makoko, 26, nearly breaking Polito's record from last season, only one goal behind. The most assists for the season goes to Johnny Effin Russell, so we'll keep that in mind when we have a look at the XG graphs shortly, because that's a position which is interesting. But Russell with the most assists. Most player of the match is Makoko, 9 in the 16 games that he played. Absolute freak is the young German striker. Highest average rating goes to Yongo. Obviously, Makoko mustn't have played enough games to be considered for that. And the most passes per 90 goes to Remy Walter, but that's not too big an accolade, truth be told. In terms of awards, the Brasileiro Serie A top goal scorer was Makoko, and personally, manager of the year in the Brasileiro Serie A, or of the season I should say, went to us, which was quite nice. Indeed, the record breakers, Makoko, the most league goals by a player in a season in Serie A. Absolute freakish effort, considering his first league start for the club was in early January. Most goals by a player in a match he also gets for 4. Most player of the match awards in the season he gets for 9. The most league appearances by a player, Graham Zusi, extends that with 338 now. And the youngest ever goal scorer for the club, Anthony Reyes, 16 years old and 92 days. I believe that might have been when he broke Makoko's record for the youngest Champions League goal scorer as well. So that more or less is the end of season review. We had a very good season, as you can see, and there is definitely some good things to build on for next season, where we will try and earn our way to the Premier League before we start Football Manager 22, depending on when we end this upcoming season. But we'll have a deeper look at the squad now. I think what we'll do first is just have a look at the average ratings and whatnot in our starting 11 as it looks at the moment. So this was the way that we ended the season starting 11-wise. A couple of players in the green, obviously Yusufa Makoko. If we can get him back on loan, that would be superb. He did re-sign with Dortmund. One of the reasons that we did bring him in is because his contract was about to expire. Unfortunately, Dortmund did extend it, but as long as they can keep hold of Erling Haaland there at Dortmund, and he is being hunted by PSG. If they sell Haaland to PSG, I suspect Makoko will be the starting striker for Dortmund. But if they keep Haaland, I'm hoping they'll be willing to loan him back out to us, and that would be a big difference maker next season. I think if we can get him on loan and make a few more additions to the team, and even if we didn't, just with Makoko coming back, I think that might be enough to propel us to top of the table and at least get us into that promotion playoff. Of course, as if you win the league in the Super League 1 tier, you don't automatically gain your way into the Premier League, but he has just been so good for us this season, a player who we've become heavily reliant on at only 17 years old. Hopefully, we can get him back. Otherwise, we'll be relying on Pulido and Reyes, who, to be fair, did get us in a decent patch of form again come the late part of 2021. Through the rest of the squad, Ayongo was very good. Good solid left back, a little bit of an improvement on what we had there in Louis Martins, and he should be solid enough to keep his starting spot next season. Not an area of the pitch I am looking at improving. You look at the ratings, Johnny F. Russell on a 6.85, 2.5-star current ability. Maybe we could improve there, but he did have the most assists of the squad, so that's maybe an area that he could keep his spot in. Ryan Wintle, 6.77, that's a little bit surprising. We go down Remy Walter to get some games later in the season because he was on a 6.83 average rating. I think those two players are quality enough to see us through, but hoping for a bit more out of that advanced playmaker role next season. We make our way up and look, for the most part, really happy with what our squad did, but there's a few areas quality-wise that we could potentially improve, notably centre-back to pair up with an on-loan Vandenberg from Liverpool. We're not having to pay them a cent to be getting him here on loan, so hopefully we can keep that deal going next season as well. But maybe someone to go alongside him to just shore up that defence. And also Tim Melia in goal. He ended up on a 6.9 average rating, which is pretty good, but he was very rocks and diamonds at times and really did feel like he cost us a few points as well. So I think it might be the time now to try and bring in a better goalkeeper with Melia, 36 years old as well. Deschamps is not as good as him yet. Definitely has more potential than him, but I think what we're going to do, the main focus of the upcoming transfer window is, as well as getting Makoko back on loan, is going to be getting a better goalkeeper to play for the first rotation. But we'll have a look at the squad, and the stats that I do want to look at coming up here if we make our way down is the XG. Now, this is more of an attacking stat, I know, but it does give you an idea about where we could improve and what we do need to see from players in certain positions. And the one that stands out there is Yusufa Makoko straight away, because 12.5 XG, getting 26 goals. Just, you can see how crucial he was to our form late in the season. But behind that, there's a few areas that are just a little bit concerning. Johnny F. Russell and Luke Bolton, both of our right wingers throughout the season, underperforming their XG. Now, Russell, I suppose, did counter that somewhat by getting the most assists for the club, but still, maybe that's an area where we need to look at getting players with a little bit better finishing, although Johnny Russell on 14 finishing is pretty good, and I'm pretty sure his season last season, he did actually exceed his XG, so that's interesting. We'll see what comes up in the transfer market if we can maybe pinch a good player for free, but he should really be finishing more chances with that finishing that he does have there, Johnny Russell, so that's a little bit disappointing. And Luke Bolton, his first season here, 10 finishing, 22 years old, that might jump up, but maybe we need to look at someone who's more of a striker to actually play in that right wing role, because that's clearly a position that we are getting a lot of XG, and we keep making our way down. Pulido just overperforming. Charloy, Felix Metch is the other standout in XG terms and overperforming. Came in about sort of a quarter of the way through the season to grab that starting left wing spot. 6.47 XG, 11 goals, did very well, and also got a quite nice combination going with Yusufa Makoko late in the season as well. The two Germans linking up quite nicely, and we make our way down, and it's the positions where you're not expecting as many goals. Punchek underperforming, but he's a centre-back, so I don't know how much we can put value-wise on that. And Angelou Fontas actually did really well from the centre-back spot, so maybe he should be starting ahead of Punchek come the start of next season. Martins potentially should have got a goal, but we're more worried about him getting assists from the left back role when he does get a start. And throughout the rest of these, really, it's all the positions where you don't expect much happening goal wise. Anyway, so just having a quick look through some of these detailed team stats, and I suppose I'll just pause on these when we find one that's quite interesting. And here's one: despite us not winning that many headers, down in 12th for that, our headers won ratio was still quite good. So maybe I'm being a little bit harsh on the centre backs there and saying that they did underperform. If we actually go home, you can see goals conceded was the second best in the league and goals scored was best. It just felt like when we conceded those goals was when we had points quite heavily on offer, but still an area I think I'd like to improve, and in goal that might actually be the more important area, but obviously looking quite good heading wise here at Sporting Kansas City. Most goals in the league, which is a nice thing to be able to say, especially because for most of the season the board were kind of getting on our back for not playing attacking enough football, but in the end that came right, albeit largely thanks to Yusufa Makoko. And we did pretty well to get those goals considering our expected goals for was down in 5th with 62, but as I said, I think that's partly due to the Makoko effect and also late season, those 18 games we had in a row in the league without losing as well certainly played a hand in that. One area I thought we weren't quite as good as we were in this season as last season was goals from corners, but truth be told, we actually got the most in the league. So again, I might be starting to get a little bit harsh on the centre backs here. Might have to reevaluate what I was looking at doing improvement wise there, but they have certainly exceeded my expectations here, have the centre backs attacking wise, because I thought we weren't as lethal from corners this season, but in the league we have done a pretty good job there to get 8 goals from corners, 2 clear of Flamengo. However, one area where we're definitely lacking is goals from free kicks or direct free kicks. We got 0. That might be something that we can look at improving. Maybe if we end up improving on the right wing, maybe trying to improve on Johnny Russell and his ratio of finishing, maybe we could try and find someone with a bit better free kick taking compared to the rest of the squad, because that does look like an area where we are slightly lagging behind, albeit our goals from indirect free kicks are completely the opposite. 6 goals from indirect free kicks, third best in the league. Down to some more defensive stats now, and we were best in terms of the expected goals against, only 35.36. So yeah, interesting that. I thought our defense was a little bit leakier than it potentially was this season compared to last, but I think we still might look to improve in that, because I just don't know about Tamelia, and maybe we could still improve at centre back, get a bit better quality there, but that's a pretty good thing, especially considering how we started the season to get the least XG defensive wise. That's a really nice thing to be taking into next season. It's quite significant too, with a 2.7 gap over Santos. 14 clean sheets as well, so our defence overall doing a pretty good effort. Maybe we could top that with better goalkeeper in between the sticks, but clearly, again, we're not actually doing too bad defensively, not as badly as I thought we were anyway. And now on to the individual player stats. Players of the match, Yusufa Makoko topping it alongside Patrick De Paula. Great season considering the games that he played. 15 league games, 8 man of the matches. Alan Polito also had a pretty good season prior to his injury, as 16 games before man of the match awards. Make our way down. Distance covered overall. We've got a few players up near the top here. Sasha Jalla in the defensive midfield role, covering a lot of territory, 403 kilometres, and down in third, Johnny F. and Russell with 397 as well. So interesting to see the amount of distance those guys covered in their respective positions. Up thereabouts in terms of headers, one of our centre backs there in Angelou Fontas, decent season for him there in the air anyway. Possession lost is an interesting stat that's just come up, or an interesting one potentially. Anyway, I'm not too sure if this is going to be related to his low XG, but Johnny F. and Russell losing possession 411 times this season, so that's maybe slightly concerning. Maybe right wing is an area that we need to try and find someone who can hold on to the ball and finish things off a little bit better than what we already have there. And as we get down into the attacking stats, obviously Yusuf Makoko is going to be very high on these, and the real highlight of these top 3, the goals, expected goals, and average minutes per goal, is the fact that he averaged the goal less than an hour, 58.7 minutes. Just, he is so crucial to what we did late this season. Have to try and bring him back on loan next season without a shadow of a doubt. Also up there in this list, Felix Mecha and Alan Polito, but Makoko on a completely different level. Shots overall, Johnny Russell in 6, so that might explain his high XG, but still, Would like to see him get a few more goals, albeit that might have been offset by the amount of assists he did get this season. Top conversion rate in the league, Makoko actually wasn't the top of that, which is surprising. Lucas Silva above him, but down in third equal, Anthony Reyes. He was really good when we had to use him this year. The 16-year-old, we've got two, or 17-year-old now, I should say. Two very good young strikers currently at the club, and hopefully if we can keep Makoko next season, that could be a dangerous partnership with Pulido perhaps being a bench option to come on for those two, as I think Reyes might benefit from more game time and getting those stats up a little bit more at his young age. Top assists in the league. So Johnny Russell got the most overall for us and was quite high on the overall table as well with 9, but there were also a couple of other players there for us who had a pretty good season assist-wise. Ambrose Ayongo with 8, Felix Metcher with 7, so that combined with his goal scoring, he had a very good season, and we make our way down. That does us. But that and the assist per 90, the same 3 players appearing, but Felix Metcher with a much better assist per 90 minutes rating. Clear-cut chances created, and Ambrose Iongo quite high in that clear-cut chances created with 5. Sepp Vandenberg with a good pass completion rate. Good to see considering we do have ball-playing defenders, so he definitely suits our playing style. Maybe another player who we should look at getting back on loan, especially with the fact he doesn't cost us a penny with our affiliation with Liverpool. And also on this list down in 15th, Andrew Fontas as well. So that could be potentially our starting centre-back combination for next season. Interceptions made, we were the highest team overall with interceptions, and you can see some of the players here who are quite crucial in that. Ambrose Iongo up there again, but also Johnny Russell. So some stats he's underperforming, some stats he's overperforming. So he's an interesting player this season, Johnny Russell. Still not sure what we're going to do in that right wing spot at the moment, truth be told. Also on this list down a bit further, Matt Olasunde, and blocks made as well. Ambrose Iongo quite high on that, as well as Matt Olasunde again. Now we get to the goalkeeping stats. Now, despite our defence being quite good, one of the areas I definitely am looking at improving is in goal, and this might suggest why Tim Melia, despite us having one of the best defences in the league, was only the 10th best goalkeeper in terms of goals conceded. He did play quite a few more matches than some of these guys higher up, but still conceded 39 goals, pretty much all the goals that we conceded in the league, 1 goal per 90. Yeah, I think we definitely need to improve on Tim Melia in goal, even though he did have the highest clean sheets. Just when he did concede, he conceded generally more than one, it would have to be said, considering how many clean sheets we did have. And he is nowhere to be seen in the top half of these saves held, down in 18th, which is only okay, and saves parried as well down in 16th. So I do think that's potentially an area that we definitely can look to improve, is in between the sticks this upcoming season. But that does it for the stats and whatnot. Now we will have a quick look at the transfers and what we are looking to do before we get into the league wrap. And if we have a look at the transfer budget, it is a lot bigger than we anticipated it would be. We were expecting somewhere around the 3 million mark coming into this season, which would have been an absolute disaster. Luckily, because of our good performance, it has gone up to 17.5 million. That makes up quite nicely for last season when we got shafted a little bit, only getting 5 million compared to the 15 million we were supposed to get. So that is very nice indeed. And we will have a look at our next window targets shortlist. So we'll just get this down to players who actually want to come to us. Now, we are going to be looking for a goalkeeper. I haven't quite identified which goalkeeper we'll be going after yet, but one of the areas I think we could improve is right wing. As we went through those stats, I'm not as sure about it now, just because Johnny Russell, good in some areas, not so good in other areas, but it was also the same for Luke Bolton as well. He wasn't quite living up to his XG. And one player who has come on to the radar, who we could potentially actually get on a free transfer, is this Bayern Munich German right winger come left winger who's good on both feet, a bit better on the right, and that would actually complete a German front three for us if Makoko stays. So that could be a nice little feather in our cap. And you look at some of his stats, he would be ideal. 16 free kick taking, that fixes one of the problems we have. Oliver Batista Meyer, if we can get this guy, I think would be pretty good, truth be told. It might fix our right wing problems. He's very well rounded, has a couple of good green stats there. Not as good finishing as Russell, but he's got some really nice other stats to complement that as well. I think it would definitely be an improvement on what we have. We will try our best to get him. No doubt there's going to be some other clubs after him, but if we can get him on a free transfer, that would be a heck of a deal. He's the obvious player who we're looking to go after at the moment, but we will also probably have a look at trying to improve in goal. Obviously, that's the main focus of this transfer window, and also getting a real quality centre back of our own in as well, something better than what we have currently in Punchek and Fontas. I think Vandenberg will remain at the club as long as Liverpool agree to give him back to us on loan for no cost at all. So that's where we're going to be looking to improve in this upcoming transfer window. We'll probably have to spend a little bit of cash in the centre back and goalkeeping departments. That's where most of that 17.5 million is probably going to go. But if we could get Oliver Batista Meyer on a free, that would cap things off very nicely indeed. But now we're going to go around the leagues and have a look at how these other divisions finished top down to bottom around this World Super League database. So first off, we have the Premier League, and in the end, our affiliate club Liverpool won it thanks to goal difference, level points with Real Madrid, who, it has to be said, had a pretty sizable lead about halfway through the season. They have somewhat bottled it, have the Spanish giants, but Liverpool going back-to-back our affiliate club in the Premier League. The teams going down, Everton, Sevilla, and Napoli. I'm pretty sure those three teams were the teams who got promoted last season. So most of them, if not all, are going to be making an immediate return down to Super League 1. Now, before we get into the league results for each of these Super League 1 leagues, of course, there was the promotion playoff final, and that comes up first. So we'll get it out of the way early. First off, Chelsea won their division, but lost out in the promotion playoff, could not win their way back to the Premier League because Lille beat them in extra time. So Lille are going up to the Premier League. Roma also going up to the Premier League, beating Ajax 4-1. And Villarreal losing out to the team who won our division in Flamengo. So we will have fresh blood in our division next season. It will be interesting to see which of the three teams that get relegated, and Everton, Sevilla, and Napoli, are going to be joining us in the Brasileiro Serie A. But Flamengo will not be staying. They are going up to the Premier League after that win over Villarreal. And we make our way now into the league tables itself. So Villarreal stay in the Liga despite winning that league, and the teams going down to Super League 2 are Real Zaragoza, Huesca, Famalicão, and Fluminense, who knocked us out, of course, of that Super League Cup. Over to the Bundesliga, and Ajax also failed to win their promotion playoff game, so are staying in the Bundesliga, narrowly winning that division. And then teams going down to Super League 2, PSV, Union Berlin, Zenit, and Arminia Bielefeld. Serie A and Roma clearly won this league and are going up to the Premier League. The teams going down, Osijek, Beijing, Guan, Crotone, and Istanbul Basaksehir. Over to Liga, and Lille just got the job done in this division, of course, defeated Chelsea to go up to the Premier League. Genoa, Strasbourg, Lorient, and Basel all going down to Super League 2. And a reminder of our division, Flamengo won the division only narrowly in the end and are going up to the Premier League, and the teams going down to Super League 2, Pachuca, Vasco da Gama, Atlético Nacional, and the team who came up alongside us, FC Dallas. Over to the Championship, and Chelsea didn't win their promotion playoff, so we'll be staying in that division, and the teams going down to Super League 2, Crystal Palace, Ghent, Nottingham Forest, and Coritiba. And now we make our way down to Super League 2 division, and we start with the Brasileiro Serie B, Estudiantes and Argentinos Juniors going up to Super League 1, and the teams making their way down a division, Everton and Sarmiento. In Bundesliga 2, Mainz and Freiburg going up to Super League 1, and the teams going down to Super League 3, Austria Wien and Jablonec. Still in Super League 2, and in the Eredivisie, Feyenoord go up to Super League 1 alongside Empoli, and the teams going down to Super League 3, FC Twente and Hajduk Split. The Liga 2 and Rayo Vallecano are up to Super League 1 alongside Real Sporting. The teams going down to Super League 3 are Lexoes, I believe that is. This is where I'm going to get some pronunciation stuffed up, so apologies for the rest of the video for what I get wrong. And Alcason also going down. From League 1, Celtic are going back to Super League 1 and quite comprehensively too, alongside Brentford, and the teams going down a division, Cincinnati and Birmingham. League 2 and RC Lens and Stade Brestois go up to Super League 1. The teams going down to Super League 3, Sion and Nancy. Over to the league that we won last season, and the teams coming up who might be coming into the Brasileiro Serie A next season are LAFC and New York City FC, and the teams going down to Super League 3 are Puebla and FC Juarez. Over to the Premier League, and Lokomotiv Moscow and Dynamo Moscow, both the Moscow teams going up to Super League 1, down to Super League 3 are Akhmat and Bate Borisov. Still in Super League 2 in the Primeira Liga, Braga and Atletico Tucumán going up, going down, Independiente Santa Fe and Cape Town City. And over to the Pro League, Fulham and Genk are going up to Super League 1, going down, Cremonese and Pescara. Still in Super League 2, Parma and Palk going up to Super League 1, going down, Regina and Göztepe. And also going up to Super League 1, out of the Superliga are Red Star and Al Hilal going down, Randers and Slovan Bratislava. Now down to Super League 3, and the teams going up to Super League 2 here from the Allsvenskan are Le Havre, Vorskla and OB. I presume that's Old Boys, and going down, AC Horsens, Sondiaksi, I believe that is, HJK and Gorica. From the Brasileiro Serie A going up to Super League 2, Colo-Colo, Penarol and Atlanta going down to Super League 4, Juventude, Cuiabá, Ponte Preta and AS Confiança SE. From Bundesliga 3, going up, Eintracht, Braunschweig, Kasp, Juppen and Heracles, and going down to Super League 4, Venlo, Almere City, Duisburg and Waasland Beveren. From the Ekstraklasa going up to Super League 2 are Donetsk, Streda, Lechia, Next and DL Pro, and going down are Esteras, Tripolis, the Suwon Blue Wings, Jiangsu and Whistler Krakow. Over to the Liga 3 and going up to Super League 2, the Chicago Fire, Gymnastic de Tarragona, Las Palmas, and the teams going down, Oliveirense, Universidad San Martin, Houston Dynamo and Villanova. From League 2 going up to Super League 2 are MK Dons, Wigan and the Colorado Rapids, and going down to Super League 4 are Wickham, Motherwell, Charlton and Shrewsbury. Over to League 3 going up to Super League 2, Troyes, Metz, Tigray, and going down a division, Chamois, Niottois, Extremadura, Racing de Santander and Ponferradina. Still in Super League 3, the teams going up a division, FK Partizan, Hapoel Beersheva and Lokomotiva at a Serie 3, and going down, Pelugia, Faith, Karagumruk, Kosinja and FK Vojvodina. And now we go down to Super League 4, so these teams all coming up, going up to Super League 3 and going down to Super League 5 respectively. Going up, Deportivo Pesto, Figueirense, Cielo Lago and Montevideo City Talk, and the teams going down, CRB and El Nacional. Going up from the Bundesliga 4, Wehan Wiesbaden, Erdingen, Hansa Rostock and Grasshopper Zurich, and the teams going down, Roda JC Kirklad and Spartak Trnava. From the Elite Serie, and the teams going up are AIK, Levski Sofia, Esbjerg FB and Botev Plovdiv, and the teams going down, Dynamo Tbilisi, I believe that is, sorry if I get that wrong, and Debreceni. Going up from the Liga 4 are Tondela, Vizela, Varzim and Wydad Casablanca, the teams going down, Racing Club de Ferrol and Atletico Baleares. League 4, and the teams going up a division from here, Le Mans, Alte Brown, Instituto ACC and Fun, and the teams going down, QRM and Penafiel. The National League, the teams going up from this, Walsall, Bradford City, Dunfermline Athletic and Ipswich Town. The teams going down, Bolton, along with Valur Reykjavik. The Perverliga, the teams coming up from here, Al Rafa, FC Seoul, Gamba Osaka and Gaziantep FK, and the teams going down, Sydney FC and MSK Zelina. Serie D coming up from here, Olimpija, Ljubljana, Chachalita Juniors, Alessandria and Catania, and the teams going down, Carpi and Larissa. And now we are down to the second to bottom division, Super League 5, so until I say next time around, going up to Super League 4 and going down to Super League 6, the very bottom tier. Going up, KMSK Deinzer, Grimsby Town, Cambridge United and Cheltenham, and going down to the bottom tier, Morecambe, Newport County, Stockport County and Barnet. National League South, Kashima Antlers, Hamilton Excelsior and Yeovil Town, and the teams going down, Weymouth, Darlington, Hampton and Richmond and Maidenhead United. Out of National League East going up, Caracas, Ismail, Shenzhen and Cringy Mostar. The teams going down, the Tampa Bay Rowdies, Akasa Sport, Tambov and Salbento. Over to National League West going up, Virtus Francavilla, Guangzhou RNF, CA Progresso and MA Tituan, and the teams going down, Filed, the Sunshine Stars, Enugu Rangers and Kingsland Town. And we are down to the very bottom divisions now of this World Super League save, so all these teams going up from here on out. Out of the Regional North, that is Cultural Leonessa, Sanfrecce Hiroshima. The team that finished third, Natsplenidild KR, I think, and Aldershot Town, they are all going up to Super League 5. Out of the Regional South going up, Queen of the South, Monarchas Morelia, Siena and Partick Thistle. Out of Regional East come US Cretao, Lusitanos, Kawasaki Frontale, Crawley Town, and Interzaplesic. Going up from the Regional West, Solihull Moors, Zamora FC, Dulwich Hamlet, and Ebbsfleet United. And that rounds up the league results for this World Super League safe. So now we make our way through all the cup competitions. First up, the FA Cup, won by Paris Saint-Germain, defeating Liverpool 1-0 in the final. Next up, the FA Super Cup. Not exactly sure still how teams actually get into this competition. I should really check. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure, but either way, the final was won by Bayern Munich 3-1 over Liverpool. The Super League Cup, this was the competition that we were in. Atletico Madrid beating Lazio on penalties in the final. Down to the Super League 2 Cup, this was won by Nice 1-0 over Lokomotiv Moscow. Super League 3 Cup, Metz took it out over ADO Den Haag 4-1. Super League 4 Cup was won by Tondela 3-2 over Piast Gliwice. The Super League 5 Cup is Miley defeating Adelaide United on penalties after it finished 1-1. And the Super League 6 Cup was taken out by KF Tirana 1-0 over Wrexham. And now we get to the big competitions, the final of the UEFA Champions League. Liverpool doing the double, whipping Manchester United 4-0 in the final of that competition. The main Europa League, it was won by Wolves, 1-0 over Red Bull Salzburg in the final. That was the team that we would have beaten in the round of 16 had we got past Arsenal. So might not have been able to get much further than we did anyway, but Wolves take out the Europa League. And in the second tier Europa League, it was Nîmes Olympique defeating Reims 2-0. And we make our way down to the UEFA Super Cup. This is between the winners, of course, of the Champions League last season and Gladbach, and the Europa League last season in Sevilla. And it was the Europa League winners, Sevilla, winning this 3-1. And that does it for the end of season review of Season 2 here at Sporting Kansas City. Hopefully you enjoyed it if you stuck around till the end, and we gave you a little bit of an insight potentially at where we will be looking to improve the squad going into next season, and you got some useful information potentially out of all those teams going up and down between the divisions. If you did enjoy the video, then please make sure to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and enjoy this save, also remember to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on so you guys are informed when videos do drop on the channel, especially with Football Manager 22, the beta, less than a month away now, I believe it will be. But next time we come back, it will probably be for a transfer special. We might get a game in there as well, but we'll see how we do. And until then, for the proper start of Season 3 here of Blue Hell Worldwide, thank you very much for watching. Keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.
Sometimes